Hi, I'm Dr. Harsha Atmakuri. I'm the producer of the film Life in a Sanctuary. And it's a film about farmed animals that we see regularly in supermarkets, but in a different way. And you will, once you see the film, you will look at these animals very differently. And I hope you enjoy the film. And thank you, Viko. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the Million Vegan Grandmothers podcast. And today I have some beautiful guests here that Dr. Sailesh Rao will introduce for us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tammy. So we have Amruta Nair, the producer of the film, Life in a Sanctuary. And Amruta, you're working with, she's working with Empathy Films. And she's zoology major and also an excellent filmmaker, in my opinion. And of course, we have Dr. Harsha Atmakuri, the producer of and filmmaker of Maka Doodh, which has had such a huge impact in India. So welcome both of you for this interview.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. It's an honor to be part of Wake Up.
So, how did Life in a Sanctuary come about? What was the vision for that?
Ahimsa Farm Animal Sanctuary is, I used to work there before. I worked with the animals there, and I was very keen to tell the stories of the animals there. So all the major heroes in the film, Kishore and Chimban and Arvind. So they were all animals who rescued and came while I was there. So I have such a deep connection with them, and I really wanted to tell their story. So when Empathy Films and Harsha, they gave me an opportunity to make a film. This is the first story that I wanted to tell. So that's how the idea grew. And then, of course, with their support and the support of the sanctuary, of course. And I lived there for 2 months and filmed. And because I already knew the animals, it was so much easier because I already knew what their personalities were and who their best friends were. So so while I was living with them, when I was working with them and taking care of them, just the experience of caring for them and the trust that builds over time, especially like the ones who've been rescued and they've come after a life in the industry, and then it takes a while for them to get used to being free. And the moment that they start trusting it is so touching that they're trusting you, and that really, it's a very deep moment. And that relationship that they have with the people who are caring for them, that is it's so unique. And I really wanted to show it, and I think I was able to show it, like with Jai Sheelan over there. It's such a you have to witness it while you're there, but the visual medium is, of course, so powerful to show how deep that connection can be. And also, like, people are so disconnected from animals. Like, there's which I think is why it makes it so easy for them to see them as food, because they do not know, like, there's of course such a strong connection to dogs and cats and companion animals that way, but they don't know how rich and complex the emotional life of other animals can be, and especially farm animals. And I just needed to put that out there, how important it is to understand how very similar like we are to them and they are to us. And especially so what Harsha and Zach also wanted was a film for children, because like it's so important to have them see this right from a young age so that they can slowly start making the connection. And for me personally also, I really wanted to show the importance of sanctuary, because there's, even among activists, there is so much importance for rescues, but there isn't enough importance given to being a carer for the animals, giving care to them for the rest of their life. So that is a commitment that we really need more people to come together and care for the animals. And from the education point of view, a sanctuary is it plays such a central role in educating people about animals. So in all of those aspects, like I just felt it was it gave such a holistic picture of the importance of animals, uh, their life as their own, not just in relation to us, but also how similar we are to them, and how easy it is to see, to make the connection. But you need to see it at that age when children are much more open to understanding. They're so curious and they want to connect. And you witness it like when you're in a sanctuary, when there's children visiting, you can see how this it's so innate that want to know more about animals. And so that encouragement is so important, so that they don't it's so easy to get lured into a pizza, and because that's how it is. So in that way, I hope the story is able to bring that connection in children especially.
Well, thank you. You really did bring that forward, the connection. And you were speaking in the voice of a goat, a young goat. And it's always so fascinating for everyone, children and adults alike. What are animals really thinking? What are they actually saying inside? And I just got off an interview with Avram from sat in a forest, and I asked him the number one thing in building the forest, and he said deep listening. And that's what you did. You deeply listened to the animals, and it feels like you heard them. Would you say that connection of really knowing what was going on for them was happening? It was easy to have the voice of a goat?
There is some imagination required to be able to understand as well. And also, like, the voice of Kishore is my niece, who is 9 years old. And we are doing the film in different Indian languages, and we are doing with children around that age. And I thought that was really important to have a child voice out for Kishore, and also the importance of Kishore, the baby lamb who was born in the sanctuary free. Like that's the difference. That is why he becomes the ideal person to tell the story, because he was born there and he grew up in that freedom. And he's able to talk about the others who came after him, and who actually came from the industry. So it's different for them because they've had a life of exploitation, and then they've come to this space where they can feel safe. But for him, he grew up in that safety. So that's why I thought like Kishore would be ideal to tell the story. And of course, like, I was there when he was born, and I was there when he grew up. So I know him. So somewhere I had the arrogance maybe to think that I can tell, I can give him a voice and have him speak the story.
Thank you. Harsha, would you like to share anything about film, the films that you're helping produce, and like Makadu and this film? How has that changed you?
So regarding the films, this is one of the things that we do at Empathy Films is, we train people, especially vegans who want to get into filmmaking, to make stories. A lot of people have that passion, but they don't know how to do it. And this is what we aim to do. And Amruta is happened to be one of the participants in one of our first workshop, and that's where she made a film. We really liked it, and we encouraged her to make a second film, which is Life in a Sanctuary, and that's how things rolled out. So we see filmmaking as a powerful tool, because when I ask a lot of people, like, what made you go vegan? In my experience, at least, 70 to 80% would say that I watched this documentary or that, Earthlings, Cowspiracy, What the Health, Folks Over Knives, a game changer. They list out these names, So we noticed that film is a very powerful tool, which I feel that the vegan community is not utilizing to its full potential. Uh, and that's how, especially in the Asia region, because there are very few filmmakers focused on these impact films, and that's how the journey started. And after that, we are still doing, like, our goal is to make 1 to 2 filmmaking workshops, and encourage people to get into filmmaking. So that's the goal of our work, our mission. And also our goal is to make films at a low budget, keeping the budget in mind. That is very important.
It's beautiful, and fostering the creativity that a lot of people have lost, and being able to say, you have this vision, and let's create it. Let's bring it to fruition for the good of all, for the understanding of all sentient beings. Thank you.
So what was the first film you did, Amruta?
The 5-minute film that I did, The Life of a Calf. That was the first one. I think Harsha showed it to you.
Right.
A day in my life. It was the story of a calf, and how she was separated from her mother in a day, like what her day is like. And so there was, I followed her through the entire day, and so it was about how, right in the morning she's separated, she's not allowed to drink her milk, and she goes hungry the whole day, and like how she's always desperately trying to go back to her mother. So there's always that struggle between her going to her mother and a person taking her away or not allowing her to drink milk. And that was the first film, which was part of the workshop that Harsha gave. So that was the first one, and this is the second one, like a longer one.
So how many students usually come for the workshop? How many have you trained?
Usually, on average, 20. Most recently, I did for monks in Bhutan, and they wanted to do this. There are two kinds of workshop that I do. One is like 5 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks. Like, we meet every weekend, and I help them, assist them in developing the story, to selecting a topic to developing a story, doing research, and going filming, editing, and finalizing. So these are the stages in filmmaking that this is a long term workshop. The other one is a single day workshop, which I give basic introduction about filmmaking. So these and the reason I do it, because when I started making videos, there is no one to teach me, and I took many years to learn these skills. And if I can teach others, I think I can reduce their duration, to self-learning period from, let's say, 5 years to maybe 1 year.
Well,
Yeah.
clearly you have demonstrated it through Amruta.
I think the credit goes to Amruta as well, because she is very out of 20 students, only one person was managed to complete the film. So, and that one person is Amruta. Yeah.
Much.
So,
Go ahead.
there's
Yes.
a lot of. Do you want me to?
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, so the workshop was very interesting because it was one class during weekend, and then we had the entire week to go out and film. Now, that part, going out and filming, is the part that needs a lot of encouragement. And, Harsha was there to consistently give that encouragement, because really going out and filming is the bit that, the challenging bit, and having people to encourage you to do it, that's very important. And the thing about, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who really want to do this, but not having the proper resources, in the sense, not knowing where to look for to study about filmmaking, or even the steps. Like, something that was really helpful about the workshop was he gave like a holistic picture of how it is to make a film from start to end, like the pre-production, production, post-production, the whole thing. And having the whole picture made it so much simpler to do it, because from the outside, when you have absolutely no idea, it just feels like sometimes it can feel not reachable. And I'm sure there are so many people who have the skill set and who want to do, but are not able to, because they don't know what the steps are or how to begin. Because if you're looking for training, if you're looking for places where you get training, then it's not accessible. So that way,
It's very expensive.
really expensive, and doesn't seem achievable. And so, yeah, that way, this is, as he's saying, such a powerful tool for advocacy and activism, and like the vegan movement really needs, and that he's giving it out for free is, that is also part of the activism, isn't it?
Right. So what was the stumbling block for the other 19 students in the workshop? Mainly, why did they not complete?
That is difficult to say. Some people who really showed interest, but they got busy with their own personal life. I think they were not able to give time. So I really didn't inquire. I didn't have the time to inquire for each person, like what's stopping them from taking the next step. But there is one lady, I think her name is Tanya, who was really interested, but her rescued hen got sick, very sick, and she was taking care of the hen, so she couldn't complete the project. So this is one thing, and I think there are some people who still do not have the confidence, or do not. Maybe, I mean, to be honest, they could be lazy also. Because doing anything for the first time takes some effort, and I think that effort should come voluntarily. I think that is missing in some of the people. Not, I don't blame it on everyone, but everyone has their own busy life, and I also try and make this workshop make sure that they can spend in their leisure time to do this, rather than dedicate skipping their work or school or college entirely to focus on this. Rather, how to spend their time during like weekends, or after the office is over, how to use that time in making the film. Yeah.
There's also this thing, like I know some of the students from the workshop, they are making videos for social media. So there's that thing as well. There's a difference between, like, when you're making for social media, you can make something that is shorter, and you can put it out, and the result is more quick. Like, you can see the response. But with the documentary film, it's a longer process, because it's it takes so long to film, and it takes so long to edit and complete. Maybe that's also something, because now everybody is so, like, social media is such a big thing. Everything has to be quick. The result has to be quick. So that that's I feel like, especially for the younger generation, I felt that could also be a
Yeah.
thing.
So perhaps they are actually spending their time using the skills that they learned in order to create social media videos. Yeah.
And they are like a few of them have started.
That's great. Well, it's really interesting what you say, Harsha. I kind of I think that Sailesh sometimes says, we've all been farmed to some degree. And part of that is the distractions of a world and the instant gratification. The studies show that one of the number one things with people that struggle with addiction is the inability to delay gratification, because things that are, we can pull in really quickly can sometimes become an addiction. And I think social media has been one of those things. But maybe they have used those skills to be able to build the videos and to share with people what they need to share, and they're just unable to follow through. So thank you for those other 19 students and what you did teach.
Sure.
And
Yeah, there is a recent survey that showed that, I think a lot of companies are preferring not to hire the recent generation, what is called Gen Z, from 97 to 25, 24. So because their attention span is less, they are less reliable, and they don't focus more on the work. Unfortunately, a lot of this has to be blamed on Instagram Reels and TikTok, and which are making people have shorter attention span rather than long term. I think that is one of the major challenges for the younger generation, not just in documentary filmmaking, but in general. A lot of young generation and are losing interest to have anything focused for a long time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, when I was working with children quite a bit as a social worker, I read a book called The Last Child in the Woods or the Forest, and it was about what was going to happen to a generation of children's brains that were exposed to a lot of technology instead of the wild. And so our convergence coming up on the 25th and 26th of January is about rewilding. It's our 20th convergence. And wondering what it would be like to rewild all of our brains so that we, as Emerson said, we slow down to the pace of nature, that we would be wise to adopt the pace of nature. And part of what your documentaries and what you've brought forth in the film industry is what happens in nature and animals. And one of the most moving scenes, we're watching the water buffalo bathing in all the water when the monsoons came, and how some animals are natural water beings, like maybe even humans, and some like the shelter and like to go out in the sunshine. So thank you for bringing that forth in your work. And thank you for supporting upcoming vegans to be able to build short and long films and to be able to bring forth their creativity. It's one of the things missing often in the education system. And when we look at places like Satna Forest that are unschooling children, you're allowing people to have the creative energy to bring forth the vegan message in a way that people can witness. So thank you for the very moving documentary or film, A Life in a Sanctuary, which you're going to be able to see on our next convergence. It's also on Chain TV. Any final words that you would like to share with our listeners today?
I would like people to find a sanctuary near where they live and go and volunteer. The animals need people to come and give love, and the animals as well as the people running the sanctuary need people to come and spend time and be with the animals. It is so important.
Mm.
And of course, to take children as well, so that they can witness firsthand how it is.
Mhm. Harsha?
So my message is that it's more of, in terms of filmmaking, like if anyone is especially who is vegan and wants to learn filmmaking, so we are always very welcome to those people who want to learn and apply those skills in making a film. And if anyone is interested, you are most welcome to reach out to us. Our goal is to make at least 2 workshops every year. So far we have done 7 workshops, and we are trying to do more.
And are your workshops all in person, some of them virtual?
Some in person, some virtual. So I'm fine with either of them. Like I have done a couple of workshops in California as well this last year, and um, once my first, I think my second workshop is with the UNICEF in collaboration with UNICEF and Animal Save. We did a workshop with students in a state called Orissa in India. Unfortunately, the people who manage UNICEF are anti-vegan, so they refuse me to connect with the students after the workshop is over. So we couldn't pursue forward. So these are the challenges as well, like as a vegan activist, and because the students were really interested to learn these skills, but UNICEF India has, the members who run UNICEF India, they uh, they how to say, they were not cooperative in extending our communication with the students after we left.
Mm.
But overall, anyone who is interested in they are most welcome to reach out. They can email to me at contact@empathyfilms@gmail.com. So yes.
Thank you for your empathy and compassion. Sailesh?
Yeah, thank you so much for the work you do in the world. It's very much needed. And we're looking forward to your presence at VCOP 20.
Thank you very
Dr.
much, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you.